What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So if you haven't already checked out our video from the other day, go check it out. We got to interview our good friend Anastasis Reklos, who made it to day 2 with Pure Mech Nights at YCS Utrecht just last weekend. We also went and attended what will be our final regional for this year. The few that are near me for the rest of the year, I'm way too busy into mid-December, having a family and all, so this was my final event for the year other than locals or OTS championships, things like that. I also wanted to play Cyber Dragon and give it a real good send-off before the next set comes, because unfortunately I will be competitively playing another deck for a small period of time at least. I just want a little break from Cyber Dragons, and I think it's going to be a pretty rough format for it. However, we will still be testing and innovating and getting you guys Cyber Dragon content. I just think that the deck's going to struggle a little bit more, and I have been playing this deck competitively for 5 years. I have never brought another deck other than Cyber Dragon to any tournament other than locals in the last 5 years, so I just want to try other things at the moment. So this is kind of my cyber farewell list, if you will. We did run the 3 Cyber Dragons, the Ulti, the Ghoster, and the Common, the Ultimate Trinity right there. Then we also ran our 3 Cyber Dragon Core, 3 Cyber Dragon Hertz, the 1 Naxter, and then the 2 Galaxy Soldier for our Cyber Dragon lineup. I feel like other than like the 1 Naxter is pretty standard. You can get away with 1. I know we're all pretty divided. 1 or 2, 3 is just wrong. Same with Soldier, 2 or 3. I prefer 2. Also prefer just the 1 Naxter. I usually don't want to see it. 99% of the time I want to use it off of cores and graveyard effect. Once in a while that 1% happens and we want to actually see it, but that's not very often. We did play the 1 Kaiju as well, a way to out-boss monsters. We ended up going 5-3 at the regional. Unfortunately, we did not get our invite. Not quite good enough. Matchups, I know round 1 was against Hand Trap Sprite, and game 1 he just passed turns, so I had a feeling, but we went for it, and I'll show you the spice here in just a second, the next card. But he had 2 Imperm, DD Crow, and Nibiru, and it was just far too much for us to play through. And then game 2 we had just a pretty standard Cyber Dragon hand, Galaxy Soldier, Repair Plant, dupe, no Cyber Dragons, and that was kind of the theme of the day. It was really unfortunate. RNG didn't help us out any. I know some people are going to say that's why you don't play dupe or that, which I do agree. The dupe is the less consistent build. My hands were just statistically unlikely, and just it was a bad RNG day, and that happens, guys. That's the downside of playing a rogue deck, and it's something I knew going into the event, and I accepted and was okay with it. Then round 2 we played against Drytron. We got Scythe locked a whole bunch, so that wasn't very fun. We also beat our last loss was Tri Brigade Sprite. We almost won the Hand Trap Sprite and Tri Brigade Sprite. We had insane games versus, but we ended up losing. We beat Evil Twin Sprite, Math Mech, Eldritch Trap, Labyrinth, and I think it was another Tri Brigade Sprite. I know it was a Sprite variant. We avoided Tearlaments, which unfortunately I felt like out of the meta decks, that was the one I was preparing for most and ready for. We ran Triple Parallel Exceed. This card, every time I saw it, other than the double Imperm Nibiru game, every time I saw it, I won. This card was insane, and I'll show you guys kind of how we use it in a little bit. 3 DD Crows, 2 Ash, and 2 Ghost Bell. And then rounding out our hand traps, we played those 7, and then the 3 Infinite Impermanences. I like 10 hand traps. We saw 1 pretty often, we saw 2 pretty often, and it definitely helped. And like I said, I wasn't breaking on the hand traps. I was breaking on like just the the cyber cards that are unfortunate. 3 Cyber Emergency, the 1 Repair Plant, like Repair Plant Soldier, and then Machine Dupe. Like those are the cards I was breaking on. I opened 2 dupe with Cyber Dragon twice. I opened both Galaxy Soldiers. I opened 3 Cyber Dragon one game. I opened Dupe Repair Soldier twice with no Cyber Dragons. Like, it was, like I said, it was just very, very unfortunate. I don't want to say that, like, the ratios are wrong, because it's just, like, if you go and do, like, a hypergeometric distribution calculator, that's big few words. If you go and look into that, like, the odds of these hands happening to me as often as they did, it's not something you change your deck over. Like, the odds are so low. It was just a it happens. That's all I can say about it. It happens. If you can afford prosperity, play 3 prosperity, and then you could cut a dupe, and I would arguably cut 1 hers down too, because then you play the 3 prosperities and they help you dig for these cards, so you're less likely to brick on them. Two talents card was pretty good for us today. Feather Duster was crazy. Overflow, obviously, and then main deck evenly matched. Like Exceed, every game I saw this, I won. It was like evenly matched. Nobody was ready for it game 1. Nobody respected it. Nobody, like, people were just shocked when they found out I was main decking it, and they're like, well, you're trying to OTK, and no, I'm not. I don't think Cyber Dragons should try to OTK. I think that makes them more fragile and less consistent, and it doesn't really help them out a whole lot at this point. I did a few times miss Cyberload Fusion. However, unfortunately, like, I know how it goes. If I would have played Cyberload Fusion, I would have bricked on it, especially because those were the types of cards I was bricking on. But there's a few times that Cyberload Fusion, I kind of wanted it, and I was like, oh, I could search this or do this right now, and it would really help, but we weren't playing it, so can't go back. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, if you will. The extra deck, then we played Mega Fleet, 2 Mega Fleets, 1 Fortress. That's it for our fusions. I got Nibiru'd a lot. I got Nibiru'd on Nova. If anything, I'd play the 1 Makaba and force them to just run over it, and then I survive another turn. XZ's, the main reason for Parallel, Abyss Dweller is just crazy, especially like when you're prepared for tier limits. Unfortunately, I didn't play tier limits. I did go into it once still. Cards just really, really good. Thankfully, I didn't have to use it at all. I don't like to, or I guess I used it, but not for time. I used it to actually be able to do lethal. I popped his Golden Lord, burnt for 2,500, and then attacked with my other cards because he can't attack that turn or attack direct. But at this point, guys, like, if you're in a really big event like a regional, a YCS, anything like that, or even like your OTS stores, like, time is something that you have to unfortunately account for when you're playing, and Volcasaurus is just a really good card for us for that. You don't have to force into the battle phase. You don't have to try and rush through things and forget your combos. It gives you a main phase 1 way to win in time. Nova, Infinity, and Zeus rounding out our XZs. Almirage, this is the fun part. Anima, and then our Parallel Exceed package, if you will. The Lin Karibo, Splash Mage, Update Jammer, Transcode Talker, and Access Code Talker. So essentially what we would do, like, you do your normal Cyber Dragon Infinity plays, and you can have, like, one way is you have your Almirage on board, and then you can, like, revive back your level 1, and then you go into Lin Karibo, and then you summon your Exceed. I was like, where am I forgetting something? You have your Almirage, you summon your Exceed, and then you can go into, depending how you want to do it, you can go, most often you would go Almirage and 1 Exceed into Splash Mage, bring back an Exceed, then the 2 Exceeds into Update Jammer, then Update Jammer and Splash Mage into your Access Code Talker. It attacks twice, it has 4,300 attack, and you also have your other cards like your Infinity or what have you on board. If you don't go Update Jammer, you can still get like a 5,300 Access Code who can attack 1 time. Otherwise, I did want to think, like, if you top deck Exceed, okay, hopefully this isn't too awkward. We had to cut a chunk out there because I had, like, the biggest mental lapse ever. Two other ways to abuse Parallel Exceed. You open it with no Cyber Engine. You can normal summon a hand trap, go into your Almirage, Exceed, Update Jammer, Transcode Talker, Revive Back Update Jammer, Access Code, 5300 attack, pops 3 different cards, and it attacks 2 times. And the other way, what if you top deck Parallel Exceed, and as long as you have Core Engrave, that's okay. If you top deck Exceed, you have no other cards in hand, nothing else working. Your opponent, obviously, you're in a grindy game, you're back and forth. You banish your Cyber Dragon, summon hers or Naxter, link it off for Linkuriboh, summon your Exceed, Linkuriboh, and 1 Exceed. Then go into our Splash Mage, revive back Exceed, then the 2 Exceeds into Update Jammer, and then from there you can go into your Access Code. You can't do Transcode this way though, because Transcode, you can't use its effect if you special summon something other than a Cybers this turn, and you banish Core to summon a Cyber Dragon. So that's a machine and it doesn't work. But yeah, Access Code off a top deck Parallel Exceed for 4,300 times 2, and again you get to pop 3 cards in the process. So just pretty fun little package that we had for our Abyss Dweller, that we actually made use of it going second as well, so it was just a little more utility. Side deck then, I went with 3 Droll, 3 Nibiru. Cards is really good. I highly recommend main decking it this next coming format. 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, and then we went 2 D-Barrier, 2 Ice Dragon's Prison, and then 1 Trap Trick, because it can be a 3rd IDP or a 3rd D-Barrier, and we only had 5 cards, so essentially playing 3 of each through Trap Trick, just to give us another going first option. I liked my side. I didn't really think anything bad about it. I'd potentially main deck Nibiru if I could go back, and even Lightning Storm main decking potentially, but this was the deck. Let me know what you guys think down below. Again, this is my slight farewell to Cyber Dragons, but we are still working on other videos for you guys, such as a Clockwork Knight build, because that's going to be pretty sweet once it comes out. Until next time guys though, take care.